Chickweed is a garden crop everyone should know. It provides a valuable cover crop to feed the mycorrhizal layer and cover the soil. It's edible and medicinal herb. It's good for livestock. It's used as a living mulch or as a decomposing mulch in the summertime. Just tons of great things about chickweed. Let's take a look. So we're over here in the newer part of the garden. You can see the old part down there. It's almost fully covered with green. The new part is coming in kind of splotchy. And over here we have some rows that are just being developed with compost and mulch, various compost. And I just want to point out some of the chickweed growing here. And we'll show you some up-close shots. But it really loves to cover these rows, and it's late March and it's in full bloom in some areas and still coming in others. Most of this has been growing since last fall and has grown entirely through the winter, and so it provides a valuable cover crop to the garden. And not only is it a cover crop, it's a really great edible and medicinal herb, and we'll definitely talk more about that. But as you can see, some of this new compost has been added, and it's good soil, but I'm digging down almost over an inch before I reach moisture. And so this bare soil is losing so much moisture to the bright sun right now and the wind, and that's not what we want. So we want soil covered so it has little disturbance. And if I come over to where the chickweed's growing, a nice patch, and I start to just dig in the same fashion and find the soil, my finger is actually wet before I get to the soil, and by an inch down it's quite visibly wet and feels good. So holding that moisture in is good, and the mulch can do a good job at that. As you can see, it's a little darker under the mulch and there's good moisture in the soil. So it's one of the values of chickweed. The above ground parts of chickweed are eaten raw or cooked. Me and my little girl will come out here and snack on raw chickweed in the fall and spring with the dew still on it, and it's really delicious, really tasty. And we will also take it inside and just finely chop it for additions to soups and stews and other things like that. As well, we will dehydrate some for both salves and as a bit of an earthy toned flavoring. Grouping petals, which makes it appear like it has 10 petals when it really just has 5 single line of hairs crawling up the stem. When given the choice, I'm harvesting nice fresh chickweed. As you can see, it's not, oh, there is a flower forming on the end, but some of this down here is not quite flowering. That's when it's going to be its mildest, kind of like a little bit of a crunchy lettuce, if you can imagine. And as it matures, like the flowering stages, it tends to get like an earthy taste or a soil taste. It's saying it kind of tastes like dirt, and that's a testament to the mineral content. This is extremely mineral rich. It's good for the chickens. We feed it to the pigs. It's good for almost all livestock, and it's so nutritious it's being used as a dietary suppressant or a reducer, like a weight loss herb for people. They say a tea of chickweed or a salad of chickweed before a meal will satiate the body, and you'll consume less. Chickweed was first introduced to me as a medicinal herb. When my little girl was born, we had a doula who was a bit of a medicine woman, and she made us a salve that had 2 ingredients, and one was chickweed, the other plantain and plantago, not the banana but the herb. And anytime there was any irritation or redness, this salve would take care of it overnight, it seemed like. So it was really soothing, considered anti-inflammatory, and just really great for the skin. Chickweed's also considered kind of cooling, and so it'd be good for heat irritations of the skin and other things of that nature. In the summertime, when the weather heats up, the chickweed will die off and is a great mulch for these rows as summer crop goes in. So about 90 degrees plus and the chickweed's going to start dying off, and we're just going to leave it lay where it provides really good nutrients to these rows for things like garlic, which is growing in really healthy. Really pleased with the size coming in. And some of this gets leaf mulch as well, so you don't see the chickweed as much when you leaf mulch, but when you leave it open, the chickweed comes in nice and strong, but then exits for the summer grow season and provides a good mulch. And so we'll basically just come in here and pull and leave it lay around and just plant right in the chickweed because it's on its way off, and that's going to provide a green nitrogen richness up top and also some root die off, you know, perhaps some carbon release down low. So it's also noteworthy that once you let the chickweed go to seed, along with other annuals like this purple mustard, which I'll probably let grow here for seed as well, they will have a seed bank in the soil. And for instance, in the summertime, if you're pulling tomatoes or peppers out of this area, the chickweed will be ready for that disturbance or the disturbance of the soil. So it tends to germinate well where there is disturbance, and you will pull that summer crop. The chickweed will be ready to bloom as the nights cool off in the fall season, and boom, it kind of holds there all winter long, provides an edible green, provides an ability to nourish the soil, feed microbial. Just out from the garden on one of our more woodland trails, we have star chickweed or giant chickweed. There we go. And this species is just as palatable, though this isn't necessarily the growth cycle to consume it, because we have rather small, large flowers for chickweed, right? That's why they call it giant chickweed. And what we were dealing with in the garden was a Stellaria media, a common chickweed, or European chickweed. So this is a native, and yeah, it's just as palatable, but this is its flowering stage. It's rather small, kind of dainty like the chickweeds, and it most certainly doesn't cultivate quite as thick as patches, though you can see it's got quite a bit speckled in here. And so it has the same grouping petals, which makes it appear like it has 10 petals when it really just has 5, and it also has that same single line of hairs crawling up the stem I showed you in the video earlier. So the time to eat the woodland species here is, or the giant chickweed, would be in a secondary growth stage that's going to come up after the flowers form. And so it's important to be able to identify it at that point when there are no flowers. It's a little bit trickier, but you will see larger clumps. They will get 2 or 3 times as tall as this, and the leaves will get maybe twice as large as well. So they'll be up a little bit higher, and you'll be able to notice that. I'll add some chickweed with some of the sweet potato peels from lunch. And everybody loves chickweed, so I'm not trying to eradicate. I'm just going through and picking some handfuls out of this nice bed here that's just laid for chickweed over the winter time here. We're just coming in just past our first day of spring. So maybe we get just a little more off this row. This is some big juicy stuff, and it's just so moist. And if you get under here, you can really see all that mycorrhizal connections, all the mycelium, things like Strophoria and the agrocybes. Other garden variety mushrooms are decomposing wood chips, zapping nematodes, filtering the soil sorts, all sorts of good things. All right, we've been doing that to these beds for quite some time now, and we won't get too much more of season out of it. First stop, the chick brooder. Most of these were hatched here on the farm, and we'll give them something to fight over. Chickweed is a crop I think every garden should have as a winter annual cover crop that provides rich nutrition for you and your family.